it's really neat. It like changes your perspective, on what you can achieve in life. And if you put your mind to it, you can literally do whatever you want. You have to be passionate and determined. And that's what we were. And that's what we accomplished. So it's a really cool memory and a cool way for us to, start this great adventure of starting our lives together just by knowing that we can do anything.
Welcome to the Budget Minded Traveler podcast, your source for the everyday inspiration and practical tips that make international travel accessible to everyone. Hey guys, welcome to episode 99 of the Budget Minded Traveler podcast. I'm back with two more BMT favorites today. If you've listened to previous episodes, you'll remember Erin and Erin, husband and wife, from way back in episode 52. That was a few years ago now. They came on the show then to tell us about how they sold all their stuff and moved to Austria. And if you remember, they kept their jobs and they were able to work remotely from their little apartment in Austria. And they too, along with our past few guests, just in recent episodes, are back in the US after their grand adventure. But what I'm most excited about is how these two have found answers to how to cope with that and put a totally positive spin on their new normal. They have a super awesome strategy for living in the present moment and for moving forward. In fact, I feel like everyone who has returned home from travel needs to listen to this episode. So share this one with your friends if you know anybody who has just gotten home and might need a little pick-me-up or even just some positive direction to keep moving forward, because it can get hard, as we all know. So let's go ahead and welcome Erin and Erin back to the show and get into this awesome conversation. We're so grateful to Osprey Packs for partnering with us and supporting the podcast, so please stay tuned for more about them later on. I have an opportunity for you to join me in real life for some real travel. Here's the latest Jump Adventures update. We are going to Greece for a bike and boat island hopping adventure this May 9th to 16th, 2025, and we still have space left. Check out jumpadventures.com to learn more and book now. We're going to have a yacht all to ourselves with ensuite cabins on board, so you get to sleep in the same bed every night as we start in Athens and make our way west toward the island of Corfu. You'll have your own bike for the week, e-bike if you want one, for cycling the islands as we go, in between meals crafted by our private chef on board, and all the relaxing you want to do on the top deck under the Mediterranean sun. These bike and boat adventures are our most carefree and relaxed trips. All you have to do is say yes and show up, and there's still space. Head over to jumpadventures.com to grab your spot now, and we'll see you there. All right, so we are back with Erin and Erin. Yay for Erin and Erin, my favorite traveling couple. Okay, so let's see. Erin, you guys, do you remember when you were, I think it was episode 52. That's what's coming to mind. When you got, it was what, 3 years ago? Over 3 years ago, you guys were prepping to move your whole lives to Austria. I found you guys on Instagram. You were like checking off things, getting closer and closer to your departure date. And I was like, I have to talk to these guys. And then we connected. We had you on the show. The royal we, that was me, had you on the show and totally connected there. And then we got to meet in person in Austria, which is so cool.
Boom. And we made a snowman.
We made a snowman and we made hot chocolate and we made banana bread and
video game banana bread.
What?
They were controllers, remember?
Yes. Video game banana bread. I absolutely remember that. We had the molds to make did we make cookies too?
We did.
Yeah, we did all the things. We had like the best snow day. Yeah. So that was the winter that was my first like nomadic stint abroad where I had been all over the place. And I ended up in Austria with you guys for a few days. That was so cool. And it snowed and we had an epic snow day. You know what? I have a video of that somewhere. So maybe I'll post it on the show notes page because I had that like all on my Snapchat and I loved it so much that I think I put it on YouTube from my Snapchat. So
I think we did too.
Yeah, no, we haven't. Yeah, I have it saved. I'm going through all of it now.
Oh, so exciting. And we've kept in touch since then, but you guys have some pretty big news which is you just moved home. Wait, what is home anyway? You just moved back to the US. Yeah. Crazy. Resettled. This seems to be the theme of the last few episodes that I've been doing. So it's super interesting to me to keep talking to people about going back home again after having like such a crazy adventure and what that looks like and where you fit in and what that means and how you even cope, right? Because it's a big deal.
That's the biggest thing.
It can be tough.
Yeah. I actually, just before we started talking, I just went onto your blog and read because I can't believe I hadn't read this yet, but July 18th, 2018, you guys published 6 months after moving back to the USA. And I just read that post and I would recommend everybody go read it. We'll put the link on the show notes page too. I love how you said, hold on, where I was like, I'm going to read this whole thing on the on the episode because it's so good.
Erin writes really long posts.
No, it's really good though. It's not even that long. It's just like, it has a really good point. And you talk about how this was your decision. And I loved the post that you wrote right before you came back too. That was like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing it for a reason. We know why we're going back. We decided on this when we had clear heads. We have to stick with it even through tears, sort of thing. Like, this is our choice. This is what we're doing. And now on the flip side, all these things that are happening as a result of that. And you made a list. Hold on. Where is it? Of all the things you've completed in 6 months. 1, you found a perfect home in a brand new city and state. 2, emptied 2 storage units, moved everything ourselves, including a washer and couch. That was rough. Painted. Our entire house was initially turquoise. Turquoise is my favorite color. Why didn't you leave it turquoise?
No, it was like a teal, really. It was like it was painful on the eyes.
It needed to go.
And in every single room, I mean, it's like you're living in a fishbowl, kind of.
I felt like prison.
It was like accent color gone wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Furnished all 1,800 square feet of our perfect home after we started with 0 furniture, acquired 2 new cars, organized all that we had stored and brought back from Austria, decorated with all of our European souvenirs and art, of course. And we're both working full time in a routine that took a complete 360. Holy wow.
And that's the podcast.
And then we're done. Bye, guys.
That's it. Wrap it up.
Wow. Would you care to elaborate? Where do we even start?
It's definitely been a total whirlwind, to say the least. I mean, to have like everything just like flipped upside down, and we're not planning like trips every weekend. We're, buying groceries and painting walls.
Yeah. Like just trying to fill our weekends again and like get back into that routine.
Yeah.
Routine. What is that? It's so different.
I know.
No more Tromso. No more Tromso on the weekend. Norway.
Oh,
I know. I think that's the toughest part. But I mean, I guess it's all perspective. Like, you have to approach it all with a mindset that's, what you went to Austria with, which is open-minded, like determined, looking at the bright side of things. I think that's kind of what helped us when you could be feeling really sad that we're not looking at the Alps and castles every day,
Yeah, and we had a mission and we accomplished it. It wasn't that we just moved back because of any other reason than we planned to move back. And the way that we moved back was thought of when we moved in the first place. So we've been saving to move back from the time we moved.
Yeah.
So it was just, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now if we didn't plan for that. And, everyone has a clock and everyone only has so much life in them. So everything, at least the plan of that 2 years is because now, we want to move to the next chapter and do one other small adventure before we go back and adventure again. Mm-hmm. So it just, there's things that I'm very meticulous with planning. So it's good because Erin's the free spirit. So, at least it works out where
a little bit of both.
we get to accomplish all the things that we want to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you just said that you had a mission when you went to Austria. Will you remind everybody what that was? Why did you go in the first place?
We just felt like everything was becoming so determined for us, like our routine, and we were missing that like sense of freedom and adventure. And I think we needed that. Like, we had just gotten married. We didn't have a house yet. We didn't have kids. So it's really like, what was holding us back? Nothing, other than ourselves. So we worked hard and knew that's what we wanted, like to start off our marriage on this like grand adventure. And so we did. And I think it's like really cool to think of it like that because, you could just, be sad that you're leaving, but at the same time, look at what we accomplished. And that's awesome,
Right. No. And I think that, it's, of course, I could have chose to spend more money on my college loans. But I got to pay the minimum, So as long as I can sustain paying the minimum in the time, you learn that anything can happen at any time, especially with so much that's going on. There's just, you don't know when life is going to end. And so when it does, you want to make sure that you've done everything you want to do. And paying off my college loans really isn't, it's a goal, but it's not like I'm not life satisfied after that. So, it's, we're not in a situation there like, oh, well, they must not have loans. They must not have, or they must have been, their parents paid for stuff. Like, we worked for everything that we did. And, we still are paying loans and going through the same thing everyone else is. But just knowing that you could do it in a different environment is really cool. And we wanted to test it out and it worked.
Yeah. Just knowing that you can accomplish that. I mean, it's really neat. It like changes your perspective, on what you can achieve in life. And if you put your mind to it, you can literally do whatever you want. And you have to be passionate and determined. And that's what we were. And that's what we accomplished. So it's a really cool memory and a cool way for us to, start this great adventure of starting our lives together just by knowing that we can do anything together.
Right.
I love that so much. And I love that you've obviously prioritized things and paying back college loans is obviously not number one. It's experience. It's life experience.
Yeah, I put away my IRA and I paid off my loans and I own a house. Like, that's cool.
Check.
It's really cool. Mm-hmm. That's really awesome. But that's
it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Good for you, though. So you kind of have just put it all out there. But if you were to sum up, like, the one or two things that you learned like the most from these last few years about you and your lives together and life in general, what would that be?
I learned that I am capable of so much that I didn't know that I was. Because I think when you're just like, in a job and you go to work every day, like you kind of limit yourself. Like in your mind, you're kind of limiting what you can do. And I think proving to myself that like I could, start a website, I could write, like I could do something that I'm super passionate about, and I could move to another country and leave everything behind and just like go into this new world with like an open heart and an open mind. I think that's really a cool thing to, take away from it.
Right. Yeah. Building confidence in yourself, and just confidence, I guess, is the one word, but it's just believing in yourself that, everyone's like, you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Like, the book, The Answer and stuff like that. People look at it like it's crazy, and it's crazy until you try it. And then when you try it and it works, you're like, oh, wow, let me try that again. And then it gets addictive. And so that's just like, as you know, and you make it work with what you have, as you know. So it's, it's all the same stuff that you're doing. Is just, I feel like everyone in our shoes, or anyone who's listening, or, is in the process or have done the same thing. And it seems impossible until it's there. And that's the coolest thing, is seeing what people comment, and like friends, when you go home, like, with the questions they have. And it's just because you're blinded, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just once you choose to look up, it's, there's a lot more than what you're doing every day.
I love it so much. I'm so glad this is being recorded right now. For so many people to hear. It's so cool. I love that you just said, I just wrote this down. It seems impossible until you're there. I love that, because that's exactly it. And when you talked about how you realized you're capable of so much more than you realized, I always like to tell people, you are so much more resourceful than you have any idea. Like, you will figure it out. And that's basically what you're saying, is you went and did that. You didn't know what that was going to look like, but you went and figured it out. You went and explored and, you know, within yourselves and all over Europe, and you figured it out and you made it work. And now you have it was going to be 2 years. It was going to be 2 years. And then it was 3 because is it because you guys got that visa? Is that why you stayed the extra year?
I mean, we could have stayed for 5.
Yeah, you could. I
know. Yeah, we had up to 5 until you had to go through naturalization. But, you know, you had to take the class and stuff. And it was just between, you know, what happened home personally and just like, you know, what our next goal was. We just tried to milk it out.
Yeah.
And then
we're like, well, maybe the holidays. Like, maybe, you know, we just kind of, because we were just so happy. I mean, life was just really happy there. You know, it was just, we were living for the moment. Everything was new and exciting. And
right. And even though we were traveling, there's nothing to buy really, except for all the souvenirs we ended up buying. But it's not like, you know, since we've moved back, the amount of Amazon that I've used it's like a drug. And it should be as a drug. Because
it is a drug.
Capitalism is just, once you get it, you just keep wanting it. But then you keep, why did I just do all of that?
Well, we did, just to be fair, we did ship back 17 boxes that all weighed 44 pounds. So we did acquire things.
There was a lot of bubble wrap.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing that 17 boxes could come from that tiny apartment that you guys had.
I know, we came here with 4 suitcases and now we're moving back with 4 suitcases and 17 40-pound boxes.
Well, one of them was like a chandelier that's another.
Yeah, they're all cool souvenirs.
And one of them was like a log, wasn't it?
Yeah. We did get a log. It was a full log. There was carbs. Yes.
That's in our, right when you walk in our door.
It greets everybody in our house. So.
But that's so cool. Yeah.
There was a lot of lumber.
Worth it.
I think that's one of the coolest parts is we're like unpacking and going through this whole process is all the stuff that we got that we're decorating our house with. Like it sparks these amazing memories that just helped us kind of get through times where we're kind of, you know, a little bit sad about, you know, not having new experiences all the time. It just kind of reminded us of special moments and people and reminded us that we can do anything.
Right. Right. And that was like our first mission. And that's why we've been like MIA on our everything. It's just because, you know, our schedule, we had such a, like me being a planner with my schedule and everything, making sure we had so many posts. And I was like, well, if we do this in the next 5 years, we can have this many posts. And I'm like being a crazy person, but then life happened and we had to adjust to all of that stuff. You know, Erin back in an office, so she's not with me every day. You know, there's a lot of adjusting. There's a lot of adjusting that to a point where, you know, now we're starting to get time. I think it was just till the end of June when we're finally
settled. Yeah.
Sorted through everything. Cause it was all this stuff from our storage unit, all this stuff from all of our lives and moving and my old bedroom when I was like 18.
It's still not empty yet though. No. It's like a time capsule.
We'll get there. There's a lot of Transformers and old Legos. But,
yes. That's exactly what I would imagine.
But it's just like integrating all of that stuff and then being able to just shrink down again to what's actually needed, you know, because we just lived out of 4 suitcases. So what do we need now? Why do we need so much stuff? And that wasn't even a question, as we were just like, I think emotionally just buying things. Like we've justified everything we've needed.
Everything's justified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think too, also like coming back and like with the site and like everything, we kind of had to press pause a little bit and just live in the moment here. Because I think if we moved back and all we're doing is thinking about memories and stuff that we did, it was almost like we couldn't embrace our new surroundings as much. And I think that was really important for us.
Right.
Just because it's so easy to move back and just always be looking back at what you did. And, you know, obviously like there's positives and negatives to everything. But I think sometimes, you know, when you move back and you're in your home country again, it's confusing in so many ways where we had to just kind of like refocus, embrace our new surroundings, embrace our new environment, our house, like our new town, and just kind of like live and be here.
Yeah.
Be present.
I don't know if it's like mentally healthy to be that way, but you know, we just like tabled all of that stuff. I honestly haven't reflected through. It's really hard to even sort through. I have like 6 terabytes of pictures and videos
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of hard drives to go through. And so as I'm like trying to sort all that stuff out, so when we start again, we can actually have everything organized in one place. It's hard to not go through them and just be like, I didn't get distracted and 3 hours pass. And you're just like reminiscing about all this stuff. Like, what did I do wrong today? Like, why am I doing this? And it was just like, no, we chose to move back for this next thing. So get excited for that. So the best way to cope with it was just to table it all. And
just for a little bit.
Because we love this area. We got married in York, Pennsylvania, and now we're like close enough to it and outside of Philly. So we're still close to a city. And it's like, we love this area. So we spend as much time as we can, just driving and trying to explore. And, there is culture here. There's, Pennsylvania Dutch. So that's really good. It's like, at least you get that. Someone's living completely different than I am feeling once in a while. And it sounds crazy, but it's like, that's what you get when you just sit in the train for 2 hours and you arrive somewhere else where there's a completely different culture and there's food you've never heard of.
Yeah.
So we kind of get it in very, very small doses.
Yeah. We find our culture.
Yeah. Finding the adventure in your own backyard. It's so important. It's part of the question of how do you hold on? Like, how do you hold on to it? But I actually really love the spin that you guys have put on it, about being present and tabling that for a minute, because I love that. And the fact that you question if that's healthy, I'm like, dude, yes. I mean, I think that it all could be, depending on where you are and who you are and what your perspective is, etc. But I love that that's the spin that you put on it. Is like, okay, this was our decision and we know why we're here. So let's enjoy this because it's another adventure. We're just starting again. It's another adventure coming home.
Right.
As I love that. I think that's so healthy. And gosh, you guys are just... You're so cool.
I mean, and you're right. You're right. I didn't really think about that as finding the adventure in your own backyard, because that's like something that we wanted to do for, like, obviously we're always thinking like TV shows and cool things that we could do. If we spent a lot. Yeah.
Obviously. We're thinking about TV
but that
shows.
was like I already have the first 3 scripts.
Yes. I love it.
But, we were trying to say that too, as we were traveling, we were trying to get people excited about, like, as we met local people, just that's what we talked about all the time was like, it's so cool that this is all the history that's happened where you live. And you just think that you're walking through this like random castle every day just to go to work. Like, you're in a castle. I don't think you understand this, what you're doing. And people can feel the same way here. And we can feel the same way that,
so
where we live, at least in, because we're in Pennsylvania too. It's a pretty old place.
Mm-hmm.
We found the oldest we could.
Yeah. We're in a house from like 1800s.
Yeah.
We're like, that's cool. Like that. And people in Austria are like, oh, that's pretty new.
Yeah.
Seriously. And then you come out west and literally this house was built last summer. I am in a house that's from 2017. So, I mean, you come out west and it's so new. I don't think we can't really do that out here. I know that in the East, like in New England and even in the South, like all along the East Coast, you can find that kind of history. It's not the same out here. It's totally different. It's way younger. It's way newer.
Yeah. Well, hey, you never know. In 500 years, someone could be sitting in that house and be like, traveling Jackie did a podcast. Yeah. Like a local historian.
Oh my gosh. That'll be the day. Oh, it's so good. So real quick, let's say before we move forward, we'll come right back to that. Let's take a moment now to thank our wonderful show sponsors. Osprey is the market leader in technical outdoor, travel, and everyday packs. And I've personally used Osprey packs since 2015. My favorites are the Fairview Trek 50 for multi-day hikes, the Cirrus 24 for day hikes, the Transporter Rolling Duffel 60, which is my trusty check luggage for faraway adventures, and of course, the countless packing cubes I use to organize everything that goes in them. We are proud to support each other on the podcast and beyond. We love getting outside and we want to see more people outdoors. So find out more and join us at osprey.com. What is the reason that, let's just put it out there. What is the reason that you moved back? Like your whole plan was to go on an adventure, but it wasn't meant to be forever. It wasn't. It was just meant to be like let's go shake things up. But will you explain like why you moved back?
I mean, the initial thing, I don't think you know this. You probably do. But I wanted to move really bad. And Erin was up for the move as well. So we I think the first justification for it was that like, here's a taste test of what it is. And you might hate it and you might love it, but let's give it some time. And then, so we agreed on the 2-year path, just because of money and just timing. And what if you hate it? Like you can't just give it a try for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So we came up with that. And then we thought of our next path of what we wanted to do. And so it kind of worked with that 2-year plan. So it was kind of just...
Yeah, I think it's, it was a nice, we obviously want to start a family soon. And so that was kind of the intention. We were going to move there for 2 years when we have no responsibilities. And when we want to kind of resettle, start a family, we wanted to be in an environment that was a little more comfortable, at least for that part, because we knew that life would just be totally changing completely. So in our mind, it kind of made sense, to be back here, for that portion of our lives. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what we decided. And so we kind of just went with it and just like kept at it and like kind of, reassured each other that it was the right decision, even when it seemed like, honestly, the harder decision to move back.
Right. And I think any longer amount of time would have been a little bit more scary to try to take in. Like, we're going to move here for 5 years. It's like, oh, wow, well, that's a long time. We are in the middle of our careers. We still have all this stuff to pay. Like, there's still you can't ignore life completely all the time. So that was a good, morsel of time that
we could dedicate to just adventure.
Right. Because the longer you wait to start a family too, it's just, my knees will only work for so long. And I want to keep it out.
Yeah, we just wanted to do all the fun stuff before there was any real commitments,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did it, which is awesome. You did it.
We did it.
Check, done. Look at this amazing experience you've had. And now you feel probably really free and really good about this next phase, no?
Yeah, totally. And I feel like we can, and if we don't, we can change it. That's how I feel, because we can. We can change our path if we want to.
Yeah.
Again.
And that's what even last night we were just talking about, we always have these epiphany talks that'll just last all night, but that's how we survive is, and just if we're not happy in a situation with how we're spending our days or because you look at our calendars, it's nuts since we moved back.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other commitments and there's family and friends to see and there's things that you want to do. But then they turn into things you have to do sometimes. So you have to change the mindset to make sure that, you're enjoying the time in our next mission. So we made a new dedication of how we're going to be looking at things. And it's really cool to keep adjusting and talking to make sure that you're on the same page to just have that same mindset so we can march forward. Because we have a plan for, later on and what we want to do. And we have to just keep moving forward. And just to write another post.
Wait a second. Did you just say that you guys made a dedication for how you're going to have a mindset right now?
Yeah.
What was that? What did that look like? Did you actually write something down?
Did we write it down? We might have written it.
This is so cool. I love this idea right now.
Do you remember when you came to our house and we had that calendar on the wall of all these color coded things for stuff? And you're like, what is this?
Yes.
So we never built a daily schedule of how we're going to be going through every day because we thought, okay, Erin goes away to work. I'm here working. And then we have to have dinner and work out and whatever. And then at the end of the day. So we don't have to get into that routine, but we're programmed for that routine by just being American, and just that's what we left. It was so easy to get back into that, and feel comfortable by doing that. But we're like, hold on, no, we've done awesome things by not thinking that way for 3 years. So why would we ever go back to doing what we just always did before we left?
Yeah,
even though we're not, moving to Europe in another year, it doesn't matter. There's still stuff that we can accomplish or work towards that we can be inspired to and motivated to work on every day. And so we can just get the stuff we need to get the stuff done and then move on to making our nights a little bit more effective and our weekends better. So yeah, we didn't it's not really like, I'm feeling like I needed more free time, because just to think, like, I used to Photoshop stuff. Like, Erin would get a post done, I would do all the stuff to get it up on the site, and it was just like clockwork. And we haven't really done that because we don't have time, but we don't have time because we didn't choose to make it a priority. So that makes no sense.
It totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. Yeah. Keep going. There's more.
Yeah, we just reevaluated it.
No, I mean, as not a priority. Like, because we want to do that. Like, do you not want to write anymore? Do we not want to write a site?
We want to do all those things.
So it's like, okay, so why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we making that a priority like we do making dinner and stuff like that?
Right.
We work. This is just another thing we need to do.
Right.
And because we want to get somewhere with it. So let's keep doing it. Even if it's like tiny baby steps, just start just getting, like, just writing 300 words, getting it up, and just continuing that way.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. So amidst the chaos, which is moving back to the US and doing all those things that I just listed off, you recognized a misalignment. You sat down with each other and you reviewed your priorities.
We did.
And you made new decisions about how to move forward.
We did.
Yes. Yeah. This is so amazing. I love this. Good for you. And good for all the people out there who are hearing you. Yeah.
You have to. I mean, you can lose track if you don't just like reassess and kind of make sure that, especially like just us being on the same page moving forward, for our happiness, for how successful we are, we just have to kind of, be aligned. So I think it's important to kind of recheck in, reevaluate, like, are we approaching every day how we want to? Are we, do we need to, incorporate more fun, like play a video game, like just like things that we kind of forget and we don't really, you forget in your daily routine.
Yeah, because after we landed, we just built IKEA furniture for 6 months. So, now that that's all built.
No, we did buy a lot of our furniture at auctions.
Yeah, so I'm an auction guy now. Like, I know how to keep a straight face and like not care. Just like kind of just toss up my number real quick.
Although he did get a rug by itching his head one time.
Yeah, the number was in my hand.
Like a pro.
Well, hey, it's the rug in our living room.
Yeah.
That's a mistake rug.
That's hilarious. Oh man, I love it. And another thing you said back there is that I'm like, I'm over here like cheering silently. There's so many things that you guys are saying that I'm like, yes, I'm so glad this is being recorded. That you said we can change our path if we want to again, because you've done it before a couple of times in big, huge ways. And you've realized that you can handle it. And now if you kind of put that together with this realignment of your priorities thing, like you can always be kind of in control of which way your path is going according to what you feel like you need to be doing. I love that.
Exactly.
And do you have a plan to eventually move abroad again? Like, is that out there?
It's always out there. But I think it's like, we're trying to just kind of, focus on the next few years and then we'll figure out what our next adventure is. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we don't lose track of, the time we have here,
right.
Wishing it away. So I think it's kind of, I don't know. I think it goes with living in the moment and just kind of enjoying this adventure for what it is. And then later on, maybe, who knows?
Mic drop.
It's awesome.
Damn, guys. Like pros or something.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, I'm happy that I've done at least a couple times. And what we've done too at the site is like, change people's mindset from having like a victim kind of mindset of having reasons why they can't do things to just messaging them enough to just be like, these aren't excuses. Like, you can change all of this. Just stop what you're doing and reevaluate and then move forward. Which I honestly just think is common sense until you pointed it out. That's
Well, what's funny is that a lot of people, I think so too. However, we get so wrapped up in things sometimes that you need to hear that voice from the outside saying something so simple to you, giving you permission. Let's give everybody permission right now to stop what they're doing and reevaluate their priorities.
Right.
Yeah. The three of us can do that together.
Right. If you're not happy about everything, what is the one thing that is like the itch on your back, and just solve it? Because they just pile up.
Mm-hmm. And you're capable. right?
Right.
Of so much more than you realize. You're resourceful. You can do it. It seems impossible until you do it.
That's right.
And you only learn when you do it. Yeah.
Right. And no matter how much you plan, it won't go as planned.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah. And then once that happens enough, then you learn how to adjust. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you become adaptable, flexible. Yeah. Changeable.
And I feel like that's how we did so much stuff in 6 months, and we completely have a whole house with like things in it and cars. And
Erin has a Star Wars office.
And I have a Star Wars office with a display case fully lit.
Can I have a picture? I have to show my brother.
Okay,
yeah.
He's going to love it.
There's a Han Solo mini fridge right next to the computer, but you can't see it.
A Han Solo what?
Mini fridge?
Mini
Because you need
fridge.
those.
Amazing.
He needs cold drinks next to his desk.
And Han Solo frozen carbonite is the coldest thing.
Oh, man. Oh, I love it so much. Yes. Do you have the Millennium Falcon rug?
Oh, I have the R2D2 rug.
Oh, okay.
The Millennium Falcon rug I kept away from. I do have a AT-AT and a beach setting rug as well. There's only so much floor space that Erin allows.
Oh man, good stuff. Here's a question for you, because I can see your house in the background. I mean, they can't see it, but we have this video on, so I can see your house. And I just looked through the pictures on the post that you put of all the boxes and everything. And I wonder if, now I kind of have a feeling of how you're going to answer this, but I wonder if having all these things feels like weight to you. Does it?
Yes.
Oh, it does.
It does.
It does. I feel like I said before, like we emotionally just bought a bunch of stuff because that we felt like we needed to have, like
be comfortable.
Yeah, we need this 12 by 12 rack here that's going to fit here for this thing, and go to Amazon and make up some weird thing, and it comes up and you buy it. And like, so we just wanted to set up so that I feel like what Erin was saying earlier, because we were talking about this earlier, is just that when you're writing the posts and remembering all the things you've done, you don't want to look up and be in a place that, you know, kind of you just don't have put together. And so that's what we were in a race to make sure everything was put together.
But now we want to sell everything.
I cannot wait. That's what this whole weekend's going to be. There's a lot of things on Amazon.
I think it's because too, like we left with we left a storage unit here that was full. We left with my closet in my parents' house that was full. Erin's room had stuff in it. And then we came and we moved everything into one place. And yeah, it definitely feels like a weight a little bit. So we're kind of just want to get back to being a little more like minimalist.
Yeah, I would love to be minimalist. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, you know, I love things a lot. I have a lot of collections. So, you know, it's really hard, but it's sad to say, but I've even made the decision to sell a lot of my Star Wars stuff, which is sad, but I don't need boxes of toys because my kids, which I'm envisioning will love these things, they already don't want them.
What?
All kids want is just like iPhones and apps now and stuff. And I feel like experiences is what we want to teach them rather than just here's a bunch of things. So if I'm going to be teaching experiences but have an attic full of things, what does that show? So it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a weight, but at the same time, we needed some things to make us feel like we were living in a comfortable place. So it's like goes hand in hand. I mean, somewhere weight, somewhere just kind of a necessity for us to feel comfortable here.
I think that's super important because you need to make yourself at home because right now this is your home. That's very, very important. It's going to make you feel way better in the moment, which is what you're trying to do.
Right.
Because I think so many of us are like, oh, this will be temporary. I'm not going to fix that door or hang that curtain or whatever it is because I don't either want to take the expense or, you know, it's just temporary or I'm doing something else or whatever. But then you end up staying there for way longer than you ever planned to. And the door still doesn't work or like the window still doesn't have the curtain or whatever. Because of that damn door. Yeah. So why don't you just fix it, make it comfortable, put yourself in a good environment where you can feel at home because this is your home and enjoy it.
I think it helps us like embrace that it is our home, you know, it was, again, with the stuff that we brought back, it was like bringing our two worlds together. And that was really comforting to us. So I think that, you know, that stuff's worth it because this is our environment every day. Like, this is what we wake up to every day, you know.
And this is where I work every day.
And this is where he works every day.
And we'll be starting a family in this house. So it's like, that's the kind of stuff. It's like, I want it to be a nice, cozy spot rather than like bare walls, bare everything. And it's just because like we have a principle, like, but we don't. Like,
it's funny, if you were to look at our house right now, it looks like we've lived here. Like, we're more decorated than people that have been in a house for like 10 years.
Wow, goals. Good job. Good job. That's awesome. Good for you guys. Making it work. Yeah. And you can create new experiences whenever you want to create them. You're in a new place. You're going to be starting a family. You have things on the horizon that are goals that you know because you've talked to each other. You're clear. You're on the same page and you're moving forward in a very healthy way. It sounds like so cool. Good for you guys. I'm proud of you. That's hard to do. It's so hard to do. I mean, you guys have had quite an adventure, and to just like
emotional, crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what's good is like, you know, at least Erin wrote a lot of it down. So we'll have like a lot of that up as posts and just random thoughts and cop outs and stuff like that you just think about just because there's so many things that got us to even to this place. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's all in the experience, right? It's all what you make of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Man, that was so good. I feel like that was the message. I feel like that was it. Is there anything else you guys want to add about living at home or going forward or anything you've learned or advice at all to anybody out there in the same situation?
I think the coolest part too is coming back with this like new vision of like life and of, you know, yourself. And I think that's kind of one of the most rewarding parts about moving back to a place that is so familiar to us, back into a routine that was just so familiar and just so normal, and looking at it in a totally different perspective has been really interesting, you know, to realize like, hey, I'm getting into this like schedule and I don't want to be like it. And I wouldn't think of like that before. I feel like when I was in the schedule before, you're just so in your day-to-day routine. But now I feel like we kind of look at it from a way different perspective, and just appreciating life and bringing all the things that we learned in Austria and their culture into our culture here in the US.
Right. And I think on top of that is the biggest thing would be, you know, challenge yourself whenever you can, even if it's not moving abroad. Just the more you challenge yourself, the stronger you are and the more ready you are when things get hard. And if you just, you know, just kind of curdle away from challenges, then life's just only going to get harder. So even if it's just something that you want to do every day, I think there's like some quote about the more it storms, like the deeper oak roots grow, or some Chinese proverb or something. But it's a really good quote that I totally botched. That
we'll find it.
The message is still there.
But the message is still there.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard, but we wouldn't be able to get through what we did in 6 months just moving back if it was just like, that's all a no-brainer.
Just approaching challenges in a positive way and just kind of embracing them rather than shying away from them.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Then it becomes fun. And then you have a lack of challenges and you want to
like, what's going on?
So you go find them. You go find some more challenges. I love it. Love it. So good. So, okay. Where can people follow you guys again? Once you start back up, because we know that you will, are you still going to be surviving Europe?
Absolutely. Well, the thing was, we were so busy embracing these new experiences that we really have written about maybe like 10% of the things that we've done. And so I think that's going to be really fun for us, is to kind of relive, like through my super long journals and through all of our 6 terabytes of pictures, reliving some of those things and sharing them with people because there's so much more for us to share, I feel like.
Yeah, and there's a lot of video I haven't even touched.
Yeah.
So there'll be more video out, I'm sure.
That would be cool.
And there'll be a new section too. I think, I don't know, we'll call it something like surviving home or surviving the move back or something surviving. Because it's the same thing. It's like you feel like every day you're crashing down. So we'll have new sections. I'll clean up the site a little bit.
But yeah, so we're at survivingeurope.com and Surviving Europe on literally everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're ready to jumpstart back into our traveling world. So we're really excited for that. And we'll be talking a lot about what it's like to move back and how you get through those huge hurdles emotionally, just having the right mindset and adjusting to, your home that kind of seems a little more foreign now. So I think that's kind of an interesting, thing that people would benefit from learning about.
Definitely. Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing. You guys are so good at this. So we'll make sure that we have links to all of that stuff on the show notes page too. But yeah, Erin and Erin, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And your story is just still one of my favorites. It continues to be one of my favorites. And if you guys have met these people in person, you would love them as much as I do. And it sounds like there's going to be many more adventures. I'm really excited to continue to follow your story and see what happens next with you guys. Cause it's like always something.
Yeah, well, we have a guest room with your name on it.
Yes! I know. I just need to make it to Philly. One of these days I will. All right. Thank you guys so much. I guess we'll have to talk to you again soon. All right.
Thanks,
you.
Jackie.
So good. I'll tell you what, that conversation when we recorded it left me so energized. I just really enjoy chatting with them. Their positivity is contagious. And I think that we need more Erins in the world. So thanks again to Erin and Erin for continuing to share your story with us. And thanks to you guys listening out there for joining us for that conversation. I hope that you found it as encouraging and uplifting as I did. That is officially the last interview in the first 100 episodes of the life of this podcast. So going out with a bang on that one. Remember, you can find the Erins at Surviving Europe, and you can find links to all the things on the show notes page at the budgetmindedtraveler.com/99. Holy goodness. I've never claimed to be good at math, but if I can count correctly, that means that next up is episode 100. And I won't say anything else about that for now, except that I'm planning to share something with you all, and I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned for that. And here's to the end of double-digit podcast episodes. Cheers, guys. See you in episode 100.